Welcome back to the dark side of the podcast. I am so glad you're joining me for this one, as it segues perfectly off the live stream we did last night, available on thepodcast.com for replay. We broke down the PSYOP a bit last night, and after reading an article in the Washington Post this morning, they're not going to stop, and I'm going to take it apart for you. And we're going to be getting into it right after this. This episode is brought to you by The Gun Shop. Information available on thepodcast.com. 10% off everything if you mention the podcasts. And Time Bomb 2000 for all the news you need to see but won't. TB2K. And you really do need to join us on that site for some debate. I mean, it is fiery. I'm on there way too much. Look for practical. So, as we stated on the live stream, they are hitting every single wicket with this. If you listen to our PSYOP podcast or the videos, we laid out what one is, how to spot it, and how to use it. It was all taken directly from the Army PSYOP manual, and it's available online. So, as we always say, don't take our word for it. Go and verify. But you know what? I'm going to touch on it just a tad to bring you up to speed in case you missed that series. Bad people do X, good people do Y. If you do X, Y will happen to you. I'm an expert, and if you do not do X, Y will happen. I am a celebrity. Do X like I do. If you don't do X, you put your family's life in danger. If you do not do X, the punishments will not stop until you do. Now, that is brutally summarized. And again, if you haven't listened to the PSYOP piece or watched the videos, please do. It's much more detailed and a little bit spine-tingling, tell you the truth. The method of reporting of this dreaded disease, it's a PSYOP. The way they are hammering home the restrictions is a conditioning element. Pavlovian learned helplessness. And if you haven't listened to that piece, you need to. It's down below. I'm not trying to tell you how to think. You do you, bro. It makes no difference to me. I am laying out the case, and you take away from it or you don't. If you want to believe this is the end of days, go to your bunker and be happy and safe. So, as I mentioned in the intro, it was from an article I read just this morning, and let's get into it a bit, shall we? It's not only coronavirus cases that are rising, now COVID deaths are too. For weeks this summer, it was a seeming paradox of the coronavirus pandemic. Cases in the United States were rising, but deaths were falling. To the Trump administration, this was evidence that its strategy for combating COVID-19 was working. To medical experts, it was only a matter of time before the trajectory changed. And it's experts, always experts. No names, just experts. PSYOP. And now it has. Nationwide, deaths have begun to rise again in some of the worst hit states, especially across the South and the West. New death records are being set daily. As a virus-scarred summer wears on, public health specialists say the numbers are almost certain to continue to climb. Experts, again, and fear. You got to get fear in there. Why are they pinging on the South and the Midwest so much lately? They are the most independent states with the most independent populations. And we don't tolerate BS well. They got to get them in line. That grim assessment came as the United States on Friday set another record for total cases with more than 76,000, including a new high of nearly 15,000 in Texas alone. More than 900 people died, matching a death count of recent days that has consistently hovered just below 1,000. That is well beneath the toll during the virus's most devastating stretch in April, when 2,000 or more people were dying daily nationwide. But it is also well above the totals earlier this month, when the average number of deaths dropped below 500. Now, you see how they reported that, right? 76,000 new cases and 900 deaths. Scary stuff. Scary. But they leave out a couple of little nuggets there. Total cases in the U.S. at present, as they report themselves on the CDC website, is 3,368,000-ish. Mortality rate of, are you ready? 0.2. 3,000 people die a month in car accidents every year. Every year. You know where I got that number? The Department of Transportation. But I'm going to push on because I hate pulling stats out. I myself use them like a drunk uses a lamppost for support and not for illumination. But people love numbers. For another, the latest spike of infections has been concentrated among younger people, many of whom have contracted the virus while at work, bars, or restaurants. They are generally less vulnerable to severe consequences from COVID-19 than older people, many of whom have continued to stay home despite economic reopenings. But that phenomenon can only last for so long as working-age Americans meet up with their elderly parents or grandparents. Now, what did I say in the live stream? If the young get sick, they will endanger their parents and grandparents. Word for word. PSYOP. Word for word. Young people are not living in a vacuum, said Director of Public Health at the University of Arizona College of Medicine, Phoenix. They're interacting with people who are more susceptible. Get them locked down again. The end is near. That is likely contributing to the spike in deaths now. In Arizona, home to one of the nation's fastest growing coronavirus infection rates, the average daily death toll has risen by around 60% just in this past week, up to 91 on Friday. The cumulative number of dead in the state topped 2,500. Okay. Arizona, population 7,286,000. COVID deaths, 2,500. Do I need to do the math here? Fear, vague percentages, star power, and experts. Worries have been rampant in Arizona that morgues could run out of room. The medical examiner's office has ordered more portable storage coolers. Funeral directors, meanwhile, have been busy ensuring they have sufficient capacity, said Heather Long, executive director of the trade group that represents Arizona funeral homes, cemeteries, and crematoria. It's 115 degrees in Arizona, so we want to make sure we have everything in place if there is a surge. That includes preparing for the ability to cremate when we need to. If that means cremating 24/7, we can. They have already come out and said, and this was from the Director of Health and Human Services in Arizona, that nobody ever said that, and the above is not true. They are just fine on storage space. But how did you like that little nugget at the end? We will cremate 24/7 if we have to. Ovens running 24/7. Scary. Fear. This one went long, but I think I made my points on this. All right, look, there's a virus. There's always a virus. People are dying. People are always dying. Average death rate in the United States daily is a bit over 7,800. Now, you couple that number with the motorcycle victim who was crushed by a semi-truck and cause of death was listed as COVID. Look it up. And you sort of have to question the statistical reporting. I'm going to finish up with just a bit more from the article because it is just glaring. You make your own decision. Trump has long been dismissive of the need for masks, as many Republican governors have. But not all. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, chairman of the National Governors Association, said Friday in an appearance on ABC's Good Morning America that masks should be mandated in states across the country, calling them the most effective thing to stop the spread of the coronavirus. If everyone were wearing masks when they're in public and in contact, the virus cannot spread, Hogan said. Well, there it is. If you wear a mask, you can't get it. Thanks, Larry. I and the rest of America, thank you for that. So, look, for myself, Tyler, Cardinal, and Bell, I cannot thank you enough for indulging me on this one. Believe what they tell you or believe your own lying eyes. Totally up to you and is of no difference to me. This is America still, sort of. And you still have enough freedom to make up your own mind. If you don't like how things are going in your state, do something about it. You still can, and there is still time. But if this psyop keeps spreading, there won't be. Look, guys, until next time, stay safe, keep up your situational awareness, keep your head on a swivel, and we will talk to you next time.